Hello and welcome back to the first game that's recorded for GP Caracas. And we have Ace Promener versus Mako, I guess. Anyways, Mako is on Four Color Minister, and according to what they said in chat, they haven't looked at the list before playing it. They just chose it because it had Grixis command. And this is it's gonna be a really funny game because Minister deck is well known for being not an easy deck to play. So let's see if Mako can figure out how to play the deck on the fly. And meanwhile, Ace Promener is on uh, Blue White Merfolk, a pretty standard tribal deck. It runs some artifacts to fetch with one of the cards. And okay, so Mako, Bear of Tormented Truth. And Ace Promener just, I'm assuming Mako is going to take Kalila Scavenger. Although Coralite Champion or Coralite Paladin is also not a bad choice. So I think it's basically a toss up between Kalila Scavenger and Coralite Paladin. I guess Soul Blade also an option. I think Mako's deck does have Artifact Destruction in there somewhere. Or does it? Let me check. Well, not explicitly, but does have ways to deal with Soul Blade, so. And Mako's just gonna take the Paladin, which is also what I would have done there. Okay, Ace Promener draws Wave Racer. I'm assuming Ace Promener is just gonna drop Wave Racer this turn and then out the Kalila's Scavengers and see what they match a hit. And that puts pressure on Mako to find an answer to those guys. And Mako draws another Unearth. So not the best draw, but not horrid. So I assume, does the deck run 2 Imagines? Let me check. No, it only runs 1 Imagine, so does it have any? Oh yeah, it does have Grixis command to get Imagine back, so you don't have to save the Imagine for a Minister. Mako's probably just gonna run out Sworn Cohort and then hold up, and then play Imagine. Or I guess play Imagine first and then run out Sworn Cohort. And okay, so Mako decides to swing with Tormentor. Huh. I would probably back to block. I guess it's pretty likely that Ace Promener has a Lord in hand. Okay, Sworn Cohort. There we go. And Mako is not going to snap off Imagine. I think, yeah, Mako should have played Imagine that turn because there wasn't any downside to not doing it. You have Grixis command to get back Imagine in case you need to shuffle stuff back for Minister. And you're not doing anything else with the mana. And Ace Promener is just going to drop Kalila's Scavenger, I'm assuming. Let's see what they match a hit. Okay, and they flip Coralite Champion. So Coralite Champion can put the aura on Wave Racer, and that allows it to attack through Sworn Cohort. But Mako probably wants to chump with Sworn Cohort anyways in order to fetch a legendary. None of these guys are giving the Merfolk unblockable, right? Yeah, so Mako can just chump with Sworn Cohort here. And assuming that's what they're gonna do. Yeah, there we go. Now Mako has to fetch a legendary. And as I mentioned before, apparently Mako hasn't actually looked at the deck. They just searched for a list with Grixis command and then submitted it. And it's also an outdated version of Minister. So yeah, definitely, to be honest, I feel like picking Minister, bringing Minister to a tournament without even looking at the deck or knowing what it does is probably not the best idea, but it'll probably lead to some pretty funny moments. So Mako fetches Mupuno. Another Grixis command. Mako probably regretting not playing Imagine last turn, because like one Mupuno isn't gonna deal with this board. So I guess Mupuno gets rid of the Wave Racer, and then Mako can chump block with Bearer, but they don't have double black for double Unearth. So yeah. So next turn, I guess Ace Promener is just gonna drop Kalila's Scavenger and seeing what they hit again. And yeah, the printing of Kalila's Scavenger in the newest set probably is a huge boost to Merfolk because getting a Lord plus another Merfolk for free on top of that for just 3 mana is really good. Okay, so Ace Promener drops Kalila's Scavenger. Let's see what they hit. And another Lord. And this one actually makes stuff unblockable. I'm assuming Mako's probably going to chump with Bear. So is Ace Promener going to attack face or attack Pumo? Okay, just out to face. Is Mako going to chump block here? I think they probably need to chump. No, they're not chumping, huh? What are they keeping around Bear for then? So still no land. Mako's gonna have to unearth the Swarm Cohort and then Imagine, and then I guess hope that they have enough chump blockers to survive next turn. Mako's just gonna concede without imagining. I feel like that concede was a bit premature, but Anyways, so looking at sideboarding, well, yeah, Miniature has a lot of sideboard cards, but the only ones that are relevant for Merfolk is probably Setting Sun. Or I guess Master Negotiator is also pretty decent, and Hemley, so probably those three. Hungering Cults, good against Burn. I guess it might also be good against Creature Aggro. And meanwhile, Astromner gets to bring in Ostracizer Orb, Shield Riftway, Legacy War Mask, Spyglass, and Sigil of Radiance. So yeah, pretty good board to bring in. In game 2, Mako draws a hand with, well, they're definitely keeping this, but it doesn't have very good mana. I guess they have turn 2 Bear, turn 3 Recoil. Meanwhile, Astromner has a hand with a bunch of Merfolk, only 1 land, so they're going to risk keeping a 1-lander, but they have 2 1-drops, so it's not a huge problem. So Mako's going to play Baron Desolation tapped, which might be a mistake here because they might have wanted to fetch the Tri-land on turn 1. So Mako's probably they're going to have to fetch an untapped land, which means they're going to be losing they're either going to have worse mana or be losing a lot more life. Yeah, I feel like they definitely should have played untapped so that they could have fetched the turn 1 Tri-land. In this case, Bleak Dominion probably, because then that would also give them red for Grixis Command. So instead they're gonna have to fetch a Pain land, and they're gonna be taking a lot more damage than if they just fetched a Tri-land. Yeah, that's just gonna be a lot of damage. So Hemley, Egg, Feather, or Bear. They're just gonna route Bear. And I think here, like, not taking anything with Bear might actually be a reasonable option here because Ace is on no lands in hand. No, Mako's just gonna take a card. I'm not sure what to feel about that because it does give Mako more chances to draw a second land, but they don't. And they still don't draw a second land. But they're not completely screwed because they have Crossing the Fog. They can just get a second land that way. At least, okay, no, they're actually gonna get a land. So they pick up Cleared Vault, I'm assuming, because they do need a land here. And they get to drop another Bone-Tooth Starter. And now Mako's also taking 2 from their land again next turn, so yeah. Are they going to... No, they're not going to draw land, so yeah, that's a problem. And the 2 Bone-Tooth Starters are also taxing their mana. So what can Mako do here anyways? Well, they're taking 2 from tapping like that, so Hemley trades for one of the Bone-Tooth Starters. Or no, it trades for both of them, I guess. And yes, yeah, Astromner is just going to let Hemley resolve. I think Mako probably has a Desperation Hemley here. Or no, they're just going to tap down stuff. Not sure how to feel about that, because now Hemley's just dead to a Lord. Mako's going to swing anyways. Well, I guess the Bone-Tooth Starters have Slipstream, so there wasn't any point in holding back Bearer. But yeah, now Hemley dives to a Lord effect. And then Mako's pretty screwed, because their mana is bad. Unless they need to draw another basic, or else they're gonna just die to their own pings. And then, even with that, I guess not drawing Minister is also, I guess, a problem in the Minister deck. On the bright side, Hemley absorbs 2 damage, I guess. And is Mako going to draw another land? No. Yeah, that's not good for them. What, they can recoil and trade that for one of the Bone-Tooth Starters. I mean, like, 3 mana kill something isn't the worst thing in the world. No, they're just gonna pay up. Alright, so, but there's really not that many good things to hit here. Or no, I mean, they can take Wave Racer, which Astromner is more than happy to discard because they got a second one. They're gonna take Orb instead? Huh. What's Mako trying to do by taking Orb there? Or, okay, I guess, yeah, Mako can just play Lord of the Bubble Dome and use it to block. Yeah, that's not a bad plan, I guess. And now they can also just let bear die and unearth it next turn. But Coralight Champion that's not good news for Mako because it allows Bonetooth Darters to hit in for a bunch of damage, or a bunch of unblockable damage, in fact. So I think Mako can still top deck a land and then recoil the Bonetooth Darter next turn, I guess. And that would require both Bonetooth Darters to die in order to counter it. That does deal with Bonetooth Darter. And again, Isram is still stuck on 2 lands, so that's not... Oh, yeah, no way to deal with Bonetooth Darter. Recoil is also an instant, so what would be a plan here? Israma can just drop one more creature, and then now Bonetooth Darter is in for 6, and then paying lands means that Mako can't actually cast anything. And yeah, now Mako just dies. So Minister loses to Merfolk. I think it's a combination of both bad draws and yeah, because Mako just didn't draw enough lands both games. I guess it's also unfamiliar with the deck because like in game 1, Mako should have imagined there. That might have actually decked them towards a land, and that could have changed the course of the game.